Hey guys, welcome back to my series where I will be going, hopefully, over every single class and their engravings and giving them an overall rating out of 5 based on a couple of criteria. These criteria are accessibility, cost, ease of play, damage, utility, fun, and popularity. At the end of the video, I will give an overall score to the class based on all these criteria so that you can make a decision on whether or not you think that this class is for you. And given that fun and popularity are a bit subjective in terms of its value, I will give one overall score that includes them and one that doesn't. The class that I want to cover today is the Enhanced Weapon Deadeye. While there are two viable builds for this class, the entry build and the non-positional nightmare build, I will only be covering the entry build in this video due to the fact that it is by far the strongest and most popular option. The Enhanced Weapon Deadeye is quite an interesting class because it has had quite a troubled reputation in the past. At one point, people were calling it one of the worst classes in the game, but Gold River at the time assured us that if we put enough time behind learning the class and its intricacies, it is actually one of the strongest classes in the game. Since then, while the Enhanced Weapon Deadeye has received quite a few changes to its quality of life, it still remains as one of the harder classes to play and requires somebody with pretty good hands to master. But while it is a hard class to play, it still remains true that it is one of the strongest classes in the game if played correctly. So let's dive in and see what this class has to offer. The first criteria is accessibility, which is basically how accessible the class is to a new player. There are a few things that go into this category, namely skill points, runes, and a small portion about cooldown gems. Looking at the skill points, the Enhanced Weapon Deadeye is definitely a class that I think would be tough for any new player to really enjoy to its fullest. Given the fact that the class has access to 16 skills at a time, you will find that your skill points are going to be spread very thin, and even with the maximum of 420 skill points, there will still be many skills that will either be underinvested in or straight up have 0 skill points invested. While the class can operate with less than 420 skill points, you will either have to choose to give up some of the class's mobility options or give up some damage as a trade-off for having less than the maximum skill points. When it comes to the runes of this class, the Enhanced Weapon Deadeye has a big advantage over many of the classes that I've covered so far, because it does not use any wealth runes. The biggest hurdle for this class will be the legendary Galewind runes and the legendary Quick Recharge rune, and while the legendary versions of these runes will be best in slot, if you are a beginner looking to play this class, you can definitely make do with lower rarity runes. Lastly, when it comes to gems, this class unfortunately does require some significant investments into cooldown gems for it to function properly. While my Deadeye is currently using level 7 cooldown gems, I find myself oftentimes having to wait upwards of 3 to 5 seconds for my skills to come back up if I'm playing the class efficiently. A minimum of level 9 cooldown gems are required to make this class operate to its full potential, and because of that, this class is definitely not one I would recommend to anybody starting the game. While the free gems from the Super Makoko Express will be helpful, it is sadly not enough to make this class operate at a minimum level that I would even call passable. So overall, I would give Enhanced Weapon Deadeye a 2.5 out of 5 for accessibility, with 5 being the most accessible class in the game and 0 being the least accessible class in the game. This class is quite difficult for a new player to hop into due to its heavy reliance on high level cooldown gems and its need for skill points, but the only reason it even has a score higher than 2 is the fact that it does not require the use of any wealth runes in its kit. When it comes to the cost of a class, we look at two things: the cost of their accessories and the cost of their gems. This takes into account both the upfront cost of the class and the long-term cost of the class as well. In the accessory department, the Enhanced Weapon Deadeye is definitely not cheap. Being a spec class definitely introduces a barrier of entry that most Swift and Crit classes don't have to deal with. While the Enhanced Weapon Deadeye does not have to deal with the struggles of meter generation, it still needs to push its spec as high as possible to output a respectable amount of damage and not do complete Z DPS. When it comes to gems, the Enhanced Weapon Deadeye is also one of the most expensive classes in the game, as it requires the use of 7 damage gems, which is the highest number of damage gems required for any class in the game, matching that of its female counterpart, the Gunslinger. But the one saving grace is that the majority of the damage of the Enhanced Weapon Deadeye comes from its 4 shotgun skills. So while it does use 7 damage gems, most players will be fine with only upgrading those 4 damage gems until the very end game. So all in all, I would give the Enhanced Weapon Deadeye a 1 out of 5 for cost, with 5 being the cheapest class in the game and 0 being the most expensive class in the game. The Enhanced Weapon Deadeye is arguably one of the most expensive classes in the game. Having to use the most expensive stat and specialization and also uses 7 damage gems is definitely not a class that is played by the poor. If you want to play this class at its ceiling, you will definitely need to invest a large amount of gold to make this class operate. The next category is ease of play. Basically, how easy or hard is this class to play? And when it comes to the Enhanced Weapon Deadeye, we have already alluded to this in the intro, but this class is definitely one of the harder classes to play in the game right now. To start, the Enhanced Weapon Deadeye is a class that uses 3 guns, the pistol, the sniper, and the shotgun, and this requires the player to cycle between the 3 guns using their X and Z buttons by default. While it may sound easy to press the buttons to cycle between your guns, when in the heat of battle, even the most veteran players can find themselves fumbling their guns and swapping to the wrong gun at the wrong time, which can prove fatal if you're trying to use your pistol for mobility to dodge a fatal hit, but you're stuck using your shotgun instead. In addition to this, the Enhanced Weapon Deadeye also has a unique mechanic for its most damaging shotgun skills. Much like how shotguns are portrayed in movies, the Enhanced Weapon Deadeye's most damaging shotgun skills all use this one tripod called the Close Shot Tripod, which makes it so that your skills do more damage the closer you are to the boss. So you basically have to stick your nose right into the boss's ass to really do any form of real damage. While this sounds easy on paper, there are quite a few disadvantages to the playstyle. For one, usually when you're this close to the boss, you often end up taking a lot more damage than other ranged classes. Coupled with your extremely low HP pool, this makes the class extremely squishy and hard to play. Additionally, anytime the boss decides to move even an inch away, your damage can start to fall off a cliff. This is also made more difficult because of the way the shotgun skills operate. You see, while a class like Surge Deathblade just needs to press its Surge button once and the damage all happens in one large hit, the Enhanced Weapon Deadeye's damage is spread evenly across some very long animations and is almost never a single hit. All of its shotgun skills, for the most part, require the player to hold down the skill for a period of time, and the damage from the shotgun will come out incrementally over that holding duration. This makes it so that anytime a boss moves away from you, not only is your damage falling off a cliff due to the Close Shot Tripod, the boss may have also moved completely out of your shotgun range, and you might end up missing half the damage from the skill due to its long animations. So overall, I would give the Enhanced Weapon Deadeye a 1 out of 5 for ease of play, with 5 being the easiest to play and 0 being the hardest to play. While it doesn't have a strict rotation like the Night's Edge Soul Eater, the Enhanced Weapon Deadeye makes up for this difficulty in spades due to its reliance on their 3 weapons and 16 skills, in addition to the fact that its shotgun skills are just not the most friendly for most people to use. While it's not an impossible class to play, anyone who does want to play the Enhanced Weapon Deadeye will seriously have to commit a significant amount of time to build the muscle memory needed to swap between the guns, in addition to dealing with its inherently clunky shotgun playstyle. When it comes to the damage of the Enhanced Weapon Deadeye, as I mentioned in the intro, this class is definitely one of the stronger classes in the game. While it is not quite at the top, competing for the ceiling with the S tier classes, when played well, this class can definitely compete for the top spot when talking about overall raid performance. At the moment, Thaemine is the hardest content in the game, and with the DPS charts for this raid, we can see that the Enhanced Weapon Deadeye is consistently in the top 10 to top 15 best performing engravings out of these 62 class engravings in the game. While it isn't the strongest class in the current meta, it is definitely very close to the top, and if played well, you could easily compete with the strongest classes out there. So because of this, I would give it a 4 out of 5 in the damage category, with 5 being the strongest class in the game and 0 being the weakest class in the game. As for utility, I would say that the enhanced weapon Deadeye is definitely just average, but it's still a welcome addition to any raid party. While it doesn't provide a ton in terms of stagger and destruction or its counter, what the Deadeye provides is its synergy. Crit synergy is one of the most valuable synergies in the game, and while that is pretty much all it provides, I would say that this point alone gives it a leg up over a lot of other classes in the game. So all in all, I would give this class a 2.5 out of 5 when it comes to utility, with 5 being the best utility and 0 being the worst utility. Now, how fun a class is will definitely be subjective, so take this category with a grain of salt. But personally, I think that the enhanced weapon Deadeye is a pretty fun class to play due to its versatility and opportunity for player skill expression. Given that this class has access to 16 skills at a time, the playstyle and mastery of the class will differ heavily between one player to another, and this is where I believe the Deadeye shines. But while you do feel like a monster when you are performing well, the overall clunkiness of the class being a spec class and also having to kiss the boss's ass makes this class quite depressing when you aren't performing at the highest level. So overall, I would rate Enhanced Weapon Deadeye a 3 out of 5 when it comes to the fun category, 5 being the most fun and 0 being the least fun. The last category is popularity, and like the fun category, how much you value popularity definitely varies from one person to another. But the fact is that the more popular a class is, the easier it is to find and purchase accessories. So on paper, a class that is more popular will be more enjoyable to play than a class that is less popular. With that out of the way, the Deadeye is likely the least popular class in the game right now, right under Shadowhunter. Looking at the stats in Korea, the Deadeye class makes up 1.55% of the 1630 plus item level characters in Korea, making it the least played class in the game. But it is not the least popular engraving, given that 74.35% of Deadeyes choose the enhanced weapon engraving over the pistolier engraving. So overall, I would give enhanced weapon Deadeye a 0.5 out of 5 in the popularity category, with 5 being the most popular and 0 being the least popular. The only reason why this class is not rated a 0 is because it's more popular than the least popular class, which is the pistolier engraving. So, taking all the stats that we've covered, the enhanced weapon Deadeye has a 2.5 in accessibility, a 1 in cost, a 1 in ease of play, a 4 in damage, a 2.5 in utility, a 3 in fun, and a 0.5 in popularity. All this rounds out to an overall score of 2 out of 5. And if you take out fun and popularity from this calculation, this class would still be rated a 2 out of 5. While the enhanced weapon Deadeye is a very powerful class in overall raid performance, it is also one of the hardest classes to play in the game, in addition to being one of the clunkiest classes to pilot in all of Lost Ark. While I do have the enhanced weapon Deadeye in my main 6 roster and don't plan to drop it anytime soon, it is definitely not a class I would recommend for most people. It is an extremely expensive class given its high stat requirement and the need for 7 damage gems, and can only do good damage when piloted by the most skilled players. But if you think that this is the class that looks interesting to you, spend enough time learning this class and you will see yourself at the top of that MVP screen more often than others would like to see you there. So that's about it, guys. Thank you all for watching this video. Hopefully you found this video entertaining and also informative and helps you in your path to choosing your next class. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please remember to hit the like button, hit the sub button, and ring the bell for notifications. And also, I stream every single night on twitch.tv/MisoxShiru starting at 10 PM PST. So hopefully, I see you guys there on my stream, but if not, hopefully I'll see y'all in the next video. Alright guys, peace out.